Are you okay with people calling you, referring to you, or thinking that you are an invincible, strong Black woman? Well, I'm not. In fact, I'm tired of it. In today's segment, I want to debunk the myths around the strong Black woman. I'm Tracey Knight, and I'm your codependency coach. I was recently talking with a friend, happens to be a man, a Black man, and he was saying that, he was raised by mothers and sisters and aunties, and they were all strong Black women. And he really thought that women, Black women, enjoyed that stereotype, that title, that it was a badge of honor. And I was saying to him, no. Let me tell you, there are so many stigmas associated with it, much like with my one client, Jessica, who happens to be 42 years old. She is a dope project manager. She and her partner, her husband, are raising children, but she's also caregiving for her aging parents. When I tell you that Jessica is on burnout, baby, that is an understatement. She's trying to figure out how to keep all the balls in the air. She makes it look easy because as women, we can always find a way to multitask, which is not helpful, but we can find a way to multitask and get it all done. But what expense does that cost us? What expense does it cost us? It's costing her her health. It's costing her her sanity in a lot of ways. It's costing her in her relationship because more recently, her partner, James, was like, you seem really irritable. You don't really seem present. Our sex life is not as active and vibrant as it used to be. And you're exhausted all the time. You're exhausted all the time. And so there are a couple of different ways I really want to hit this around codependency, because what codependency does a lot of times is prevent us as women and men from asking for help, for receiving help, for conveying to the world that we no longer need it. Now, for African American people, I think we get this honestly. If we look historically, our ancestors oftentimes worked until absolute exhaustion. They sometimes felt like they didn't have a choice, and maybe they didn't, to be honest with you. But in today's society, there is so much more that is available to us. But I think what we are is in the habit, in the pattern of not asking for help, not wanting to look weak, and to be able to prove to the world that we can handle and do it all. These are signs of codependency. And the consequence of that is, number one, with our partners, it doesn't give our partners and our family members the opportunity to step in and really be support systems for us. It also doesn't allow us to really be in an ebb and flow of the partnership. In other words, you don't begin to know what it feels like to actually be supported. But I hear women all the time saying, well, he's not going to do this and he's not going to do that. But the question is, have we asked him to? Do we allow him the space to do it? Even if he doesn't do it the way that you want him to do it or the way that you think it should be done. And then what we come back with is overgeneralizing, saying he never does this or he's always this. That overgeneralization is going to nip in the bud any support that you are going to get. Now, you can keep wearing that cape if you want to. You can wear it if you want to. But the consequence is like our health. What I'm seeing with my clients is excessive weight gain because, of course, what we look for, hello me, is some of that soothing eating, the binge eating, the sweets, the chips, anything that's going to help us to feel, comforted. Right. And then with that comes weight, which, as we get older, is not always as easy to get off. Right. And then we're looking at our body like, what is going on here? So that's one part of it. Number two, sometimes I have even found this in myself, is eating to stay awake. Man, let me tell you, when I figured that out, is that sometimes I was eating chips to stay awake, instead of taking the time for rest and respite. And so when we don't ask for help, we don't have time to take a nap at 3 o'clock like I do. When you don't ask for help, you don't have the space to take your Saturday for yourself to do something that really matters to you. When we don't ask for help, we don't get an opportunity to see how our team in the workplace can rise to the challenge, to give other people an opportunity to be in roles of leadership. And what happens is people start to believe that this is what we want, so they just keep piling it on. And then we become resentful because the workplace is piling it on, and don't they know that I can't carry all of this? Well, we haven't conveyed to them that we need the support. And then conversely, with our family members, sometimes we will think that we are the ones that can do it better. So we don't give our family an opportunity to step in and step up. We teach people how to treat us. That's the message today. Is codependency stands in the way of us being able to receive the abundance of love that people want to extend to us if only we would allow the space for it, that we would ask for what it is that we need. So I want to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. One challenge is, what is it that you need? Ask yourself, what is it that you need right now? And then do you have the courage to give that to yourself? I was saying that to my BFF before I started shooting this segment. She was saying she was exhausted, but she had to do this and she had to do that. And, she was going to wait a whole month before she could take some time for herself. I said, are you kidding me? A month? You might be dead by then. Right? So I'm first going to challenge you to ask yourself, what is it that you need right now? And then as I explained to her how she could make the space for it, she started hemming and hawing. So my second challenge is, will you give yourself the space for it? Will you give yourself the opportunity for it? Will you allow it to come in? And I told her, I said, girl, that work and that project that you're working on that involves some attorneys and other people that have to do things, that stuff gonna be right there. In case y'all haven't figured it out, that work gonna keep piling up. And if you dead, they gonna keep right on, okay? So will you give yourself the space for that? And then ask for what you need is the third thing. Really ask, go to the people. I know that maybe you've asked in the past. You might say, I always ask. Ask again. Be clear, be specific about what you need, and then be willing to give the space for it to show up in the way that it shows up and be non-attached to that outcome. The last two things I'm going to invite for you to do is to take my codependency quiz, because that's going to really give you some insight into how you are moving at work, at home, and in the bedroom. How you may be allowing things like people pleasing, worrying, overdoing it to take over your life. So take the quiz. It's only going to take you like 3 to 5 minutes to do that. And it's going to guide you into what needs to happen next. Next for you might be to take my Conquer Codependency Bootcamp, which I am going to personally shepherd you through the process of rescripting this strong Black woman narrative that so many of us have holding over our head like the sword of Damocles, right? And then the last thing I'm going to ask of you is to subscribe to the channel. Right? Because subscribing to the channel gives you the opportunity to know when I go live, but it also gives us an opportunity to keep bringing you dynamic content. Post, ask us questions. I want to invite you to come into the studio with me and let's have a conversation. You don't have to be on camera. We can take care of that. So when you subscribe, you become a part of the community and then share it out with some of your friends. This has been an awesome conversation today, one that needs to be had. Hey, and one more thing. If any of this resonated with you or sounds like you, leave me a comment below. If it sounds like a friend of yours, because we always can pinpoint it with a friend, share this with them and then invite them to send a comment, a question, or a concern, even a topic that they would like for me to talk about. I hope to see you real soon.